Hey, what's going on, everybody? So normally I don't put announcements back to back, but today I'm going to make an exception because this isn't quite an announcement. This is just basically me discussing my, experiences being a director on VRChat. I mentioned how I was trying to make a VRChat movie. Yeah, it turns out being a director is a lot harder than, anyone would thought it would be. Go figure, right? So the challenge is conveying a story that has decent acting while not really putting much, how would you say, like practice or rehearsal into it. Because remember, a lot of these scenes, these skits, are captured in the moment ad hoc. So with that in mind, everything is sort of like if you let that pass you by, you miss it forever. Like you have one shot to get it right. You can try it again over and over again, but certain elements of a certain scene or the way the scene comes out might differ between like different takes. I say that because the entire movie so far has all been improv. All right, so that being said, the acting is pretty much all over the place, as you would well imagine. There are some good scenes, some scenes that are okay, some scenes that are pretty bad. It's all like a mishmash. Also, the quote unquote actors are also like very cyclical because waiting for everybody's schedules to align, like everybody that's a part of this movie, waiting for everybody's schedule to align is like waiting for the planets to align. It just simply doesn't happen. And me myself having this new job, I don't exactly have the time to just sort of lurk and like, reach out to people. Besides, I have my own side projects to work on, like artwork and setting up on things. Excuse me. So, with that being said, the style of the movie is going to be very interesting. I can already tell. It's going to be somewhat incoherent at some points, but by and large, I will fill the gaps with my own narration. So you might be wondering, well, Tujo, what kind of movies you trying to make here? Well, I'll tell you. As soon as I clear my throat, Jesus Christ. So yeah, basically the main character is, at least for the first chapter of the movie, is Boris Yushenko, and Boris Yushenko is Truislav, and he's living the Gopnik lifestyle on the streets of Russia. And so he's like head of this big like criminal organization, and Putin is like the big boss. He's like head of the country. He doesn't care where the money comes from. He just wants his slice of the pie. So he's going after legal businesses and illegal businesses. And Boris Yushenko just happens to head one of the illegal businesses. So, he said, like, Putin's just like, okay, well, we're going to send some cops over there. And if you don't pay up, we're going to bust your kneecaps in. And Boris one day says, no, he's not going to pay no more. So he bribes two police officers to look the other way. The police officers are needlessly dickish to him, and he decides, you know what? I could run this country better than Putin. I'm going to wage war. And war he wages. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out so well for him, because while he can defeat the cops, he cannot defeat the Russian Red Army. Yes, the Russian Red Army. The kind that you saw during the 1930s and 40s. That one. So he runs to America to try to rebuild his forces and coop his losses, but unfortunately he gets caught trying to date a furry, which is very illegal. Putin passed some mandates basically saying, oh, well, no Slav of mine's going to be dating a furry, even if they are a furry. So Boris gets caught and arrested and sent to the gulags, but the gulags aren't actually gulags, they are abandoned research facilities at the heart of Chernobyl. Yeah, I know. The movie is very over the top. So that's about as far as we got, and a lot of scenes in between have to be filmed. It's very hard to get people to like maintain interest long enough to get the scene to come out the way I want it to, but there's a certain sense of intrigue in this style of filmmaking, in my eyes anyway. Like, it's probably going to be weird to you all, but like, I like the idea of just telling people, hey, this is your role. These are the circumstances. This is like what you're supposed to do. And whether or not you accomplish your task in conveying what I told you to, let's see where this goes. And, everyone tries their own way in like filling a part. And it's very interesting seeing it all come together, Because things like, there's a certain sense of randomness to it. It's almost like, I guess somebody likened it to role playing, and it's kind of like that, except it's very scene oriented, so it doesn't perpetually keep going. Because like people only have so much energy to do like a one shot scene, and then it's like, hey, let's go play some virtual reality werewolf, or like that game show I hosted as Donald Trump. So, yeah, swings and roundabouts. It's a very interesting project that I started, and it's been captivating me for the past several weeks now. Or, I mean, I would say technically we started about a month ago. The problem is, I don't want to push the people working on this project too hard because, well, we all got lives, we all got stuff we want to do. Some people just don't feel like working on a movie right then and there. And other people are strangely interested in this. They want to see this like succeed. They want to see, their role in the movie mean something, which is pretty awesome. But at the same time, it's like, unless I get the exact number of people that I want for this scene, I don't want to work with what I got. I want to wait until we have like a bigger pool of people to draw from and make this happen. And obviously, the more people that you include into a scene, the more complicated the scene gets because it's just like, how do you capture like the true effect that you were trying to go for with so many people that, in some cases are more interested in just screwing around. They don't really want to they kind of want to act the part, they kind of don't, if that makes any sense. So organization is a bit of a challenge. All the lines are pretty much ad hoc, like made up on the spot. I have taken to writing stuff down, like, decent scripts, but the problem is nobody has time anymore to memorize scripts or anything like that. We got to, get where the grill's hot and stuff. So, yeah. This is not the only movie I have in mind, by the way. I might, when I actually get some scenes down, I might convey to you all, what else I'm trying to go for. I know that you're mostly interested in seeing the furry-related stuff. And no problem. I'm definitely going to work on some, furry-related movies and content. But right now, a lot of my interest is vested in this movie-making project. And part of the reason it's so time-consuming right now is the fact that I have to do all the video editing, which means getting the right music, sound effects, synchronization. Sometimes there's a little desync there, so I got to make sure that pans out all right. And the audio in some cases is just crap. Like people talk too softly, or my equipment didn't quite pick it up in the moment. It's just something I got to wrap my head around and figure out. I might actually have to buy some fucking software to get this stuff to work. But yeah, with that in mind, I just wanted to mention to you all what it's like to be a director. It's also very annoying where that one person in the group makes the same joke over and over and over again. It's like, okay, that was hilarious the first time around. Can you drop it like a hot potato? So kind of like that friend that you would refer to colloquially as Brian. And, the old adage goes, owing to Dane Cook. If you say that you're all your friends love you, then and no drama or interpersonal dialogue happens, well then you're the Brian. Joking aside, there were some moments where somebody would just beat a dead horse basically with the same joke. I will say this love scene where the person wasn't really that interested in doing the love scene came out really well actually. So hopefully that will be a part of the movie. The main character's love interest, I don't want them to be a cardboard wife. I want them to actually have a role in this movie. So I've been sort of weighing my options on what role they will actually assume. Besides being, love interest. Because, anytime you have a love interest, you don't want the love interest to just be there. You want them to be doing something, obviously. So hopefully with this as my first project, in the future I'll be making much better movies, as I get an idea of what I want to do, and, a more tighter pool of, good, quote-unquote, actors. I only say good, quote-unquote, I'm not even trying to say I'm, good actor. I think I can pull off a decent Russian accent. I think I can do decent voice acting, but I'm obviously not an actor. Sometimes I fall flat on my face, sometimes I think I do pretty damn well with improv. And So I'm noticing certain people are better for certain roles than others. So it's sort of something to keep an eye out for, like what your talent pool is, what they can do, their, I guess, capabilities, and trying to exploit those capabilities for the scene. So yeah, I mentioned I was going to make a trailer. I'm going to work on that tonight, and possibly some more Echo. Wait, did I say Echo? I do want to get back to Echo. I'm more for I Promise now that someone has graciously provided me the secrets of getting the good ending, because some of those endings are pretty fucked up. But I'm going to talk about that more when I actually do, well, you know, the I Promise like recording. So, with that in mind, I actually wanted this video to be pretty based on my directing skills or lack thereof. The camera is hard because much of the like recording for all this was happening before the update. According to the update, you now have access to a VRChat camera. The problem with the camera is I'm trying to hide names to make it more like a movie, and the HUD obviously. And the problem with the like camera is when you have that camera out, they have like a tiny little name tag that is very hard to ignore. You know, like it's just there, and I'm like halfway across the map, and even though it's smaller than the normal name tags, it's still just there, and I'm just like, it ruins the conveyance of the scene to me. Um, Now you might be wondering, like, why are you making movies now? Do you remember that Attack of the Zombie, like, well, what was it, the crystal meth zombies that I made? Like, basically, it was that pilot, that horror movie pilot that I made. That sort of inspired me to make an actual movie because while the pilot was actually just a joke, based on a skit that we pulled, I actually want to make something like that into a horror movie, or at least a chapter in this movie. So perhaps I'm foreshadowing of what might happen later. Um, but yeah, that sort of inspired me. Basically, Boris, he was supposed to be just a stereotypical Slav, like, street gopnik. And he actually, I made him a full-fledged character. I even drew him. Like, he's in a drawing that I'm working on. So hopefully that gets completed soon. But no, basically, this movie is more of a tribute to my VRChat friends than it is to actually, like, I guess get my name out there or anything like that. But it is something to sort of practice on how to make like good movies. I almost feel like Brendan Small from Home Movies. All I need now is a decent Coach McGurk. Or maybe I'm the Coach McGurk. Hey Brendan, you want a burger? Um so yeah, with that in mind, I think I have rambled on long enough. It has been about 12 minutes now. I'm going to leave off by saying that I have 3 movies in mind, one of which has a good bit of dialogue and audio to it, well, footage to it. The other 2 are just basically concepts on paper, which I actually want to start filming and like taking, potential candidates for acting onto. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, VRChat has such good potential, as far as being able to pick scenes and do things. The problem is a lot of the scenes that I really wanted to do, the levels that I would be using to film the scenes are, well, they've been deleted or they are no longer accessible to me because, well, the creator, I guess, forgot about it and didn't update it with the recent updates that were required. So, yeah. Basically, I got to strike while the grill is hot, as I've said. I have to exploit all resources available to me at this moment in time, prior to things disappearing or no longer being accessible to me. And, VRChat, as successful as it has been, it could implode any day. Like, you never know. And it would suck. I mean, I have ideas on how to get around that, like, opening up a game in Gary's mod, but it wouldn't be the same as VRChat. And I would like to be one of the few people that can say, I made a movie based on a social media called VRChat. That'd be pretty cool, And a lot of people are egging me on. They're saying, yeah, you should go for it. I've never heard anybody else trying this. And, me saying this, it sort of opens me up to, like, I guess somebody else beating me to the punch, but I don't care at this point. I just want to get this project rolling and have it come out at least somewhat close to what I was imagining. And hopefully be about 5 times better than a Michael Bay film. So with that said, I'm going to go work on my projects now. I will catch you next video, guys. Take care and peace.